안녕하십니까. 마스터 코스 라테럴 어프로치
Hello, this is Mass Course
부분을
Director Kim Jin-gu, and today I'm going to talk about lateral approach last kit. So let's start with the introduction. We first have to understand what last kit is, and last time we looked at conventional method using piezo and other approaches do exist. But besides that, more accurate, precise, and more convenient way of doing lateral approach with instruments was thought about, and this last kit was developed. This is for advanced ostomy technique, and not for everything, but as making window is challenging, this kit was developed to make that part easier. So this is the setup of last kit. So there are dome drills and also this yellow core drills. And more details, let's look at them. So in case of dome drill, there is rounded tip, so it grinds out the bone, so it's optimized for a grind out technique, and core drill is for the wall off technique. And also what is important is like casket, there are these stopper systems, so when making lateral window, you can have it safe lateral approach. So on the panel like this, you have carriers, and when you do the sinus surgery, the lateral approach kit, the curate others are here. So with just this kit, you can do the surgery end to end. So there are two functions of last kit. First, you have dome drill and also core drill. So let's look at the dome drill first. This actually grind out window. So this is grind out technique to create window, and core drill, which is more often used, it creates bone lid to make window and then repositions the bone lid again with this kit. So in case of dome drill, on the tip, it's round, and the blade is at the side. So with that, they grind away the window to have access. And like this, like casket, on the outer side there is force, but in the inside it's a weak force for cutting, so it creates bone lid, and this bone lid with the blocks out to come into contact, and chip is attached to the blade, and the blade is rather dull, so it doesn't really damage the maxillary side. And perpendicular approach, of course, the wall, would it be grinded? Well, of course not, because the blade force is stronger here, so it's better to have an oblique approach for cleaner detachment. So again, please be mindful to use oblique approach to have more safe and convenient usage. Now, this is the dome drill, and after using it, inside there will be chips. So the sinus membrane, it's safe and it goes through, pushed it, but there is no perforation. So it's a very safe way of using it with dome drill. But then what is wide dome drill? In the beginning, if you cut with dome drill, and you would know there is a vibration, and you feel it's hard to make the whole entire wall while feeling the vibrations. So when there is hole, expands the hole with the wide dome drill like this. This is round, but here it's more angular, meaning the cutting power, it can be expanded, and you can push to the side, and it will still operate very safely and smoothly. So you use dome drill first, and after creating the window, you expand the window using the wide drill. And then you have this core drill, and as I said before, it's for wall-off technique. like this. You make window, and the dome drill creates this core, and this area, this round area, the bone disappears, the ring side, and if you take only the core out, then it becomes very convenient to the wall of technique. So it's a very convenient instrument. So the bones is stuck there, and it's very hard to remove them. So it's special. There's an instrument to take them out. I'll talk about that later. And round blade, it's angular tip. So when there is a sinus membrane here, the cutting power is not that strong to tear it. So it's like cast drill in terms of properties. So core drill, again, please be mindful to do oblique approach for easier cutting and safety. Another important thing is that there is a stopper system. We love casket because when you use casket with stoppers, of course, even if good tactile sense, sometimes you are still exposed to perforation, but with the stopper, thankfully, we can use it safely. And in this kit, there is also stopper system, but unlike cast, it's wider. So it has stopper that is incompatible, and the wall thickness being 5 to 10, you don't have this people. Mostly it's 1 to 2 millimeters of wall thickness. So from 0.5 up to 3 millimeters is the size of the stopper system. So it's color coded, and when you use them, always it's advanced by 0.5, and like cast drill, the protruding by this number, so it only protrudes by 0.5. So don't get confused. Like cast drill, this only up to the side is protruded to the outside. It's the convenient way to memorize them. And also there is a side wall drill. And this one, like dome drill or core drill, after opening up, there is this thin area, and it's very sharp edge, and it has a difficulty of accessibility for instrument. So this sharp area, you have to smooth them out, and for that, using round burr, you cannot do that. So for convenience, in the shank area, we make them to cut out. So indeed, a tip is patent. So you use this cutting blade to cut them. So here you can use stopper also for safety. And this is not, the size is same as casket, not last kit, because the size is smaller. So it's safer to use them. And here, again, this is for smoothing of the widening of the sinus wall. Now, sidewall drill uses the casket stopper. Please be mindful of that. And after using core drill, there's a bones filling inside, and it cannot be removed easily. So to remove them, we use bone separator as an instrument. So in this grooved area, it's a lever principle used, and you push it, then it would easily come out. Then let's look at how actually these drills are operated. First, let's see how the dome drill can be used. Now, in the kit, you have two sizes, and which one you have to determine. But personally, I prefer the 7.0. So let's look at them, and 1.5 stopper. So every 0.5 advancement for usage. Again, be mindful of that. And once you have the window using the wide dome drill, you expand them further, and then use sidewall drill, then like this. Let's see step by step. First, you open flap with incision, and let's say the wall thickness is about 2 millimeters, and we use dome drill. So first, 7 millimeter size dome drill, and then I attach 1 millimeter of stopper. On the CT, the thickness is 2 millimeters, so why 1 millimeter? Like cast. You have to underdrill by 0.5 at least. And use the stopper and take them out, and like this you would have a hole inside. But you have not grafted, cut even half of the bone, so it will be not translucent. And again, 1.5 stopper, and use on the same area and removed it, and it has accessed further, and then change to 2.0 stopper and push further in, and you would feel a membrane. You will see it's pushing more closer to the sinus, and this will be the bone lid area, the white area. It doesn't come in that direct contact, so it's safer. So there's a translucency there, and then you see a lot of bone chips attached here. After that, using wide dome drill, you expand the area. So using the wide dome drill, you expand to the sideways to expand the window sides on the sideways. And on the margin area, using the side wall drill, here the sharp area, you cut it down to make it dual and enlarge it, making the window larger. And after that, you would have this type of large window. And then as a conventional practice, as in conventional lateral approach, you use the curette for detachment, and then you drill, then you place the implant. And here you could 3.5 final drill for 0.0 implant, and you need to under drill because it's a maxillary sinus area, and then you place the implant. And in this site, actually you fill with the bone graft material, and you could leave it at B, but as I said, this area, it's better to cover it with a membrane for protection, and then you close the flap. So last kit is not for all sinus surgery, but for the maxillary sinus, when you make window, it's making the process easier. Please remember that. Then let's look at how you can use core drill. Core drill, the diameter, you have 7 and 5.5, two sizes, and I prefer 7.0. And again, using the stopper, you expand step by step. And like this on the inside, you leave the core and you cut out by line. And so the advantage is they can be used for wall-off technique. And for core drill, in the beginning, again, 2 millimeters thickness of the lateral wall on the maxillary side. You can use the lasket procedure with core drill. So you again 1.0 millimeter of under drilling. So use 1 millimeter of stopper with core drill. Then 1.5 again forward by 0.5, and then here like this, you will see some hues in the inside, and the thickness is not uniform, so there might be some inconsistency. So check with your eyes. Then 2.0 drill, it will be used. Then sometimes it comes out together, but mostly it's still inside there. And then you do some process, and if it goes out together, you remove the bone particles, and then you use on the inside. Using the lever principle, the core can be removed. And again, as a conventional practice, you do detachment, and then you elevate membrane, and again, you use guide for drill, and then twist it. You go through this step. So 4.0 implant placement, but it's better stop with 3.0. So drill, if you have a lot of residual bones, or if the bone quality is good, then of course, you can rarely also use 4.0 drill. But with the lateral approach, placing implant, if possible, it's better to under drill. And so you fill with the bone material, conventional practice, place the implant, and control the depth, close with cover screw. But here, with the core drill, with the dome drill, it's all grinded out, so there's nothing to cover. So for protection, you put membrane. But with the core, the reposition can be done easier, which means membrane might not be necessary for protection purposes. Then in using lasket, what are the considerations? Let's look at the actual case. So here, there's a V-shaped, and it's most favorable situation for using lasket. There's not much residual bone, so we do lateral approach, do vertical incision, and expose the area. And here we used core drill with the 1.5 stopper, then 2 millimeter stopper. You drill, then you remove the core, then you see the membrane inside, and slightly here there's a bit of damage, but fortunately there's no perforation. So you remove the bone lid, and sinus membrane is easily detached without perforation, and use the sidewall drill to clean out the area for the ease of the operation. And then you do bone graft and you do repositioning. Then you place the implant and suture it up. And post-op, there's low residual bone for crestal approach. Then you have to do lateral approach, but there are teeth on both sides. There is also septum. Window cannot be really big. Then in such a case, it will be a good option to use. So like this. Before and after 5 months follow-up, the lateral approach area, there is a bone formation that's quite ideal. So depending on the shape and conditions, you could use round burr, or you could have overlap of different windows. So if one window cannot do, then, and if it challenges anatomical conditions, then you could apply different things to make it easier. Like if you want to make it oval or wide, then 2 overlap with lasket. Then if you cut it off, if one is too small, then you overlap the 2 to make it wider. And one thing you need to remember is that when you use dome drill, especially, the window will be disappear. And I said repositioning should be done. But if it cannot be protected, bone material might disappear, or it might be tricky in terms of bone formation. So always, if there's an fracture or if there's grinded out, it's better to cover it with the membrane. And that is the conventional theory. And in this literature, it also says that after lateral approach, covering with membrane versus no membrane coverage, there is difference in success rate. And also here in this paper also, using membrane versus no membrane, again, there's a difference in success rate. So especially using lasket and dome drill, you did grinded out wall, then it's better to cover with membrane. So there are this type of advantages. When you use burr, sometimes it goes too much in and might touch membrane. So it doesn't look like there is a tear, but it becomes very vulnerable condition. So burr intrusion that was unexpected. So you have to prevent that. So for safety, using lasket would be much better. But of course, as I said before, during operation, there's always risk of perforation. So if you are not really comfortable with surgery yet, then using lasket might be better to protect yourself from this type of risks and perforation. That's what I think. So with that, I would like to end my lecture on lasket. More details will be available through my offline lecture. Thank you very much.